Howdy there, folks. I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs, and I'm feeling really under the weather. You can probably tell this already. And so rather than leave you guys hanging, I decided to finally do a video that I get questions about every single day. And that is, Quinn, what's on your iPhone? So Quinn, that snazzy iPhone guy, am here to show you what I have on my iPhone. And a few of you, I'm just warning you up front, may be disappointed because although I do have quite a few cool applications on my iPhone, I use my phone as it's intended, as a cell phone, to talk to people. And so I use the phone app probably more than anything else, with maybe the exception of Twitter. And so for those of you that are expecting some App Store gems, I may not be able to bring that to the table because I really do use a pretty standardized set of applications. That being said, on my iPad I have some fun stuff, and I might do a What's on My iPod video here in the near future. But let's stop talking about the technicalities of this video and just get into it. The first three icons, Messages, Calendar, and Maps, are nothing special. You'll find them in every single iOS device. But if we tap this photography folder, you'll see that I do have a couple of applications, in fact a lot, 12 applications that I use almost not every day, but I use every single one of these applications at least on a bi-weekly basis. So I am a big into photography on the iPhone. That's why I use the iPhone over Android phones and other phones out there, because of the camera. It just rocks my socks on the iPhone 4S. And the first one, which doesn't exactly create high fidelity photos, but it's a really fun way to share stuff, is Instagram. I've been on Instagram for a long time, ever since it became pretty popular, and I've loved it. I love being able to communicate and talk to other people. It's a great social network, and if you're not on Instagram, you're crazy, because you can find some beautiful gems on there. There is a picture of the Foo Fighters' Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace vinyl record I just got a couple of minutes ago, well, 20 minutes ago. And I did buy a turntable, so hang on. I'm going to talk about that later this week. Don't worry your little heads about it. But yes, I bought a record player, and I'll tell you why in the next couple of days. But this is my first vinyl that I bought new, and it's a great album, one of the best rock albums in easily the last decade, maybe of all time, dare I say that. Multi-Grammy award winning for a reason. All right, let's stop talking. Wow, I cannot speak English. Let's stop talking about that and move on to the other applications in this folder. You all know Camera. You all know Photos. You all pretty much know iPhoto. Let's talk about Camera Plus. This is from a really awesome company, and it's free. So there's no reason for you not to pick it up. Whoa, I'm recording you right now. Cameraception. But you can be really goofy in here and have tons of nasty photos with you and your ugly friends in Las Vegas, being dorks with your wolf shirts on. You can awesomize them. You can edit these photos. It's just a really clean editor, and it's free, so you can't go wrong with that. I also love using Cinemagram. This allows you to take multi-picture shots, and they're basically they're GIFs, but it's not, because you only animate one part of the picture. So as you can see, this is someone's photo. They're animating the shower, and everything else is exactly stagnant. Same here. It's pretty cool what you can do. I mean, there's a lot of really awesome effects on this app. I think it's $1.99, maybe just $1, but I recommend you check it out because it's pretty freaking sweet. I mean, look at that. That's cool. I think that first one is stellar. Look at that. Everything else is like a photograph except for the shower. That's pretty sweet. Anyway, so that's Cinemagram. I also use Big Lens. Big Lens is a really awesome way to blur or add depth of field to your photos. So let's load a photo here. Go into my camera roll. Let's take this one of me in a birthday hat. This was an Instagram picture. See what you guys are missing out on for those that don't follow on Instagram? Bet you're jealous. Okay, so what I can do is I can do advanced here. And what I'm just going to do, I'm going to do a really poor job, is I am going to highlight my head and this birthday hat. And then if I do auto, that'll kind of fix things up. It actually does a really good job. Look at that. And I can press forward, and what will happen is it blurs everything but my lovely dome. And so you can really focus the picture. Because you don't have a wide aperture on the iPhone, you can make a fake aperture and blur the background even more. So it's pretty cool. A really awesome app. I highly suggest you check out. I think it's 99 cents, but it's called Big Lens in the App Store, and I use that almost every day. The next is PicFrame. You guys have all seen these. There's a bunch of different ones that do the same thing. You basically choose a frame here, and you can select multiple pictures to create this kind of neat little double photograph, really. And they're pretty cool. I like them, but it's just basic paneling. Snapseed is $5 in the App Store, but it's the application I use to edit more than, or just about every single one of my photos. You find an image. This doesn't really allow you to take images. You have to open an existing image, but you can just straighten, crop, add details. They have beautiful filters that aren't super dramatic or exaggerated like Instagram. However, they do add a really, really nice characterization and beauty to your photos. So that's Snapseed. It's $5 in the App Store, so it's not cheap, but that is by far my favorite photo editing application. Camera Plus was my favorite, but I don't use it much anymore. In fact, I don't even think I've opened it since I did the restore on my iPhone, which was a couple weeks ago. But it's still a really great application. You can both take photos and edit photos here in Camera Plus. It's by Lisa Bettany. She's a fantastic photographer, and it was developed by Tap. So it's a great application. I highly recommend you check it out. They had some fiascos a couple months ago. This application, Camera Plus, wasn't available on the App Store for, I think, 6 months because they snuck a volume button picture taker little bug or trick inside of the app, and Apple got pissed off and said, no, and took that functionality away. Well, it's back now because Apple supports it in the SDK, but up until now, it doesn't. Now, ISO 500 is like Instagram. It's kind of more indie, kind of a little cooler, but it's the same basic idea, square photos. I think that the people who use ISO 500 are a little bit more, it's actually 500pixels.com, but I think they're a little bit more artistic, and I prefer that. Now, Dermander is pretty sweet because it allows you to take, let's do a photo here. It allows you to take panoramic photos in a flash, and they look really, really nice. This one's going to look horrible because I'm filming this in a dark room, but typically in landscape stuff, it's beautiful. I mean, you can create really cool photos. On here, it looks like total garbage, but disregard that. That's Dermander, and I think that's free as well, so you should go check that out. Clock, App Store settings, we all know what's in there. Now, Crapple is all of the applications on the iPhone that Apple doesn't let you get rid of or hide that I never use. I never use YouTube. I never use iTunes. I never use Game Center or videos or stocks or voice memos or Compass. Who uses the Compass? Really? Come on. So I've just thrown it in this folder that I never use and keep it on the main page for cleanliness, but I never use it. Now, the games folder is where things get a little bit more exciting, and I have a couple of games here. Most of them I've done a video on, ironically. Like Gravity Rocks and Muffin Night, both did a video on those. Those are fantastic games. Whale Trail is an instantaneous classic. Puzzle Juice is by far my all-time favorite iPhone game ever. Never. It is amazing. It's mostly the most crack-addicting game ever because it integrates Tetris and... leading me through the tutorial again. I don't know why. Basically, it's Tetris and Boggle together. You are able to do this, and you find another piece here, and you can rotate it, and it turns that row into letters, and then you have to form words. So it really is Tetris on crack because you're playing two games at once. That's Puzzle Juice. I think it's $1.99 in the App Store. Absolutely fantastic game. You must get that. Golf Extreme is a pretty fun little game. It's just like flick-based golf. I think that's 99 cents. Rope and Fly, I'm sure you guys all know about that. As with VidRhythm, I did a video on that a couple of months ago. Ski on Neon, I don't love. It was in the App Store, and it got a lot of praise, and tons of people were playing it, but I feel like it's an inferior version of Whale Trail. I don't really love it, so I haven't played that much. I think it was $1, but I don't really ever play this game. I just installed it a couple weeks ago and have left it here. Bitter Sam has to be one of the best iPhone games out there right now, and I don't think a lot of people know about it. It's a fantastic scroll-based game, which I should probably show you. It reminds me of Cut the Rope. In fact, it might even be from the same developers because it has a very, very similar play style, but it's absolutely fantastic. And you're basically this little Bitter Sam, I suppose. You're this little guy, and they lower you into this little arena or vault, and you have to steer away from objects and onto objects depending on different surrounding environments. It's like basically a backwards doodle jump, but it's better because there's object oriented, and it gets pretty hard. That was really lousy playing, but you guys get the idea. Bitter Sam, I think that's 99 cents in the App Store. And even if it's $4.99, which it isn't, it's still worth it. It's one of the best games out there right now. Bejeweled, everyone knows about that. Moto Heroes, I don't love that either. I have it installed, it's fine, but I don't love it. I like Bike Baron and a couple of other tilt-based games better. And then, of course, Draw Something, which is very, very famous. I don't love that either. I liked it at first, but now it's grown old on me. I was super hipster, and I was using it before pretty much everyone else. So I don't love it anymore, and I'm falling behind on all 20 of my games. That's the other problem, is when you have so many games running, it becomes stressful to keep updated on all of them, so I don't. Right here we have my church folder. There's a bunch of stuff in here for my religion, scriptures, gospel library, LDS tools, some basic stuff. Anyway, there's nothing really all that exciting for you guys in there, but that's one thing that's cool about my church is all of these apps are, except for the first one, Scriptures is not. My church does Gospel Library instead. This Scriptures app was just some indie developer. But anyway, all of these apps are developed by my church, which is pretty cool. And my church is not small. I mean, there's 14 million members. But anyway, it's pretty sweet. Utilities. We have a bunch of cool stuff in here. Droppler is basically like a cloud app for Mac. It's basically a file syndication service where you can share files and all that other stuff. And it's a pretty good little application. I like it. It's decent. It's cool. You can share photos. Obviously, I shared this one on Twitter because it has 255 views. But there you go. I like it. And you should check it out. It's free, so there's no reason not to. Squarespace is simply the best blogging engine out there, really even website engine. And their application for iPhone is sweet. You can create and manage posts all from this application, preview your website, view traffic statistics, all that other cool stuff. Anyway, that's Squarespace. Squarespace.com/Snazzy. Sponsor. And this is Wi-Fi to Hi-Fi. This is a pretty sweet application. What it allows you to do is basically transmit audio that's playing on your Mac to your iPhone and vice versa. It's really pretty handy. It does stream in really good clarity and quality, which I found slightly unusual, but it only works on your localized Hi-Fi network or Wi-Fi network. So, for example, if I was playing a 5x5 podcast in Safari, and I wanted to switch it to my iPhone, all I have to do is click a little button on my Mac. There is a Mac client, and it will move the podcast to my phone, even though it's still playing on the Mac. The iPhone just basically streams it. GarageBand, for those of you that are in British areas. For the rest of us, GarageBand, everyone knows about that. Reminders, that should probably go in Crapple, but I use it more often than all the other Crapple stuff, so I leave that out here. But I don't use it very often because of Clear. I will use reminders because I use Siri reminders all the time. I'll say, Siri, remind me to go to my hair appointment tomorrow at 3. And I use that instead of using iCal. I almost never use the calendar function because I just use Siri reminders. So that's pretty sweet, but that's in this folder because I use it more than others. Pages, we all know about that, Apple's word processing platform. iMovie, I don't ever think I've even opened this, but it's installed. I bought it when it first came out. Yeah, this has never been opened, but I don't really ever use it because I don't have a need to make movies on my iPhone. Dropbox, we all know about Dropbox. It's basically the same as Droppler, but not at all, really at all. Anyway, Roku. Roku is my media player in our house. Instead of using Apple TVs or other competing devices, we use Roku because it has Netflix, Hulu Plus, and Amazon Video, and Pandora, and Twit TV, and Blip.tv, and Revision 3, and Rdio, and has a bunch of sweet stuff. And so that's why we use Roku. We just love it. And so this is a Wi-Fi based remote. So if you don't want to use their remote, you can use this, and a pop-up keyboard will come up to search, so you don't have to toggle with the arrows. You just type out the channel you want to search, and that's pretty sweet. So there you go. That's the Roku. Flashlight, you gotta have a flashlight. Open this and it turns on the LED flash on the back of the iPhone. Pretty basic. This one has a compass. Check that out. Is it right? Let's see. It's not even right. This is north, and it's displaying to me that it's south. So there you go. A fancy flashlight that's not actually all that great. We have ad block. I did a video on this last week, and I have ski report. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. There are like 13 resorts within 20, 30 minutes of my house, and so I like to see the base. Snow this year has been terrible, absolutely terrible. I go to Snowbird most often and Alta, but 13 out of 13, it's just kind of cool. You can see the lifts that are open. You can see webcams to see mountain conditions. It actually looks pretty nice. I plan on going tomorrow, even though there's no snow. And there you go. You can see the weather. Let's see the weather for tomorrow. Let's see. That's pretty warm. Actually, that's really hot. 61 degrees up there in the mountains. That's going to be like 71 to 75 down here. So that's nice. But there's going to be no snow. Recent snowfall, March 26th. When was that? 6, 7, 8, 9 days ago. 4 inches. It's going to be mediocre at best. But there you go. And that's my utilities folder. If we go on over to music, you can see that I have Mog. Yes, I still use Mog. Yes, I know it got acquired by Beats by Dre, but I'm still going to use it because it's still the best. Now, every time I say, well, I use Mog because it streams in 320 kilobits per second, people are like, well, Spotify does too. Actually, it doesn't. A very small portion of their library does. And a lot of the time, they're taking the crappy tracks and simply re-encoding them. So there's no fidelity gain. It's just a larger file size. It should be illegal, but they're a European company, so they do whatever the heck they want. I hate them, and therefore, I use Mog. Pocket Casts, I listen to tons of podcasts. Almost all of them are from the 5x5 network. The only reason I have Twit on here is because Lamar Wilson, Wilson Tech 1, an amazing tech reviewer, is... Well, he's not really a reviewer. He's pretty much a news guy. He's great. If you haven't heard of Wilson Tech 1, you need to go check him out. He works with Revision 3, and he's big time now. We started for the longest time. I had a huge audience in comparison to him, but now I'm just like the little tiny guy, and he's gained infamous notoriety. But it's well deserved. It's excellent. Anyway, that's the reason I have Twit on here, but the rest of the podcasts on here are 5x5. I freaking love 5x5. Dan Benjamin, Merlin Mann, Marco Arment, John Siracusa. The talk show is like one of the most famous freaking podcasts ever because it has John Gruber of Daring Fireball. It's amazing. And Pocket Cast is made by Shifty Jelly. I have tried Downcast, and I just love Pocket Cast the best. It's the one I like the most. So that's what I use. EQU, this is great. I did a review on this probably a year ago now, but as far as I'm concerned, it's still the best way. Oh, that just sent a shock of music through my speakers. That's annoying. All right, anyway, that was, it basically just allows you to clean up and modify the lower quality tracks in your iPod or in the music section of your iPod. And I don't have hardly any music on my iPod because, again, I use Mog. SoundHound is like Shazam, but a million times better. I think it's $5, but it's still worth it. It's so much better. I can't even begin to describe to you how much better it is than Shazam. So I use SoundHound. Love it. And we're getting close here to the end. We have entertainment. I have Hulu Plus, Netflix, and Azul. I'm sure you both know or you all know what both Hulu Plus and Netflix do. Azul Media Player is pretty awesome because I have a bunch of files on my Mac that are videos that I've either ripped or acquired through other means that are not in files they're not in a file type that the iPhone is ready to read. And so what Azul is basically it's basically a GUI media player that re-encodes your videos while you're watching them. So Azul will take your .mkv file, which is not compatible on the iPhone, and re-encode it while you watch it, so you can watch MKV files on the iPhone. So that's pretty sweet. Clear, done a video on this. This is my to-do list. Facebook, yes, it is embarrassing, but I do use Facebook. My primary use for Facebook, and I'm going to close this before it shows you all my friends and you add them, is I use it for, well, I like it. Shut up. Instagram. Instapaper. Instapaper is the best read it later software. There's read later, and there is, what else is there? There's tons of stuff. I don't even know. There's tons of stuff. There is readability. I don't like any of them. Instapaper is the best. It's developed by Marco Arment, and he does an amazing job. Basically, what it does is you find an article, and if you're on your Mac, you hit this little bookmarklet, and it automatically downloads on your iPhone, or you can do it from your iPhone, but it's pretty sweet. You can take full articles from, for example, Vanity Fair, and download the whole article to your iPhone, and it's stored on here in the content. So this is a long article, and it's stored on there. It strips all the ads, all the other crap out of the stuff. This is just you and the content you want to read. So that's pretty sweet. I use Instapaper all the time and love it to death. On the bottom, pretty basic, phone Safari, TweetLogics. TweetLogics is my Twitter client, and I love it. It's the best Twitter client as far as I'm concerned in terms of quickness and stealthiness. I don't like Tweetbot. I've tried every single Twitter client. Like literally, if there's a Twitter client, I've tried it. I've spent probably $100 or more just on iPhone Twitter clients. And I know that's really depressing and sad, but I got to tell you, TweetLogics is amazing and I love it. Sparrow is my email client, and I don't really want to open that because I don't know what's just chilling ready for you to read. But I have all my email accounts hooked up here, and it's ready to go. So there you go. I think it's a great email client. I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me with due time. It's a great replacement, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, really the only replacement from Apple's Mail.app. And I don't necessarily think it's better, but there's some features about it like filtering that I do prefer, and so that's why I use Sparrow over the standard Mail.app. If we turn the page here, we have Newsstand, and I pretty much don't ever use Newsstand. I read Mac Life. I pay 99 cents a month for that, and that's pretty cool. And I also read Ensign, which is my church magazine. So there you go. I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs. I'm sorry I'm sick. I'm sorry that wasn't a great video, but hopefully it helped you digest a little bit of technology information for you today. I can't even think straight. I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs. I'll see you guys later in the week when I'm feeling a little bit better with more reviews than you can muster. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and as always, stay snazzy. See you later, folks.